Television. I'm about halfway done with the Daredevil series on Netflix. I heard kind of mixed reviews about it going in. I'd say I'm generally enjoying it. It doesn't feel like appointment viewing for me. Like, it was pretty easy to keep it on in the background and, not feel like I was missing too much. I think the actors are fantastic. Charlie Cox has a certain charm and suaveness to Daredevil that works really well. I really like Vincent D'Onofrio, who I couldn't figure out what I knew him from. I think the most recent thing I saw him in was Robert Downey Jr.'s movie, The Judge, that I talked about back in like episode 3 or something. But yeah, he's fantastic as the Kingpin. He brings this kind of warmth that you wouldn't expect from a character like that. Like, he's kind of a lonely guy, and that's a really fascinating character study. I think Rosario Dawson is really good as kind of Charlie Cox's nurse. Foggy, I want to call him Foggy Bottom, the other lawyer that Charlie Cox works with, is great. I think it's a great cast. The story so far is fairly forgettable. I'm primarily watching the show, I guess, because I enjoy the characters, and there's some really beautiful cinematography going on. There's a scene in episode 2 in a hallway that is like a single cut all the way through, and what's great about this is it's a battle where people are getting tired. Like, that's really nice. A lot of superhero movies, you see this kind of thing where someone's just fighting for 30 minutes non-stop and they're not even like breathing hard, and by the end of this battle, everyone, both Daredevil and the bad guys, are just exhausted, and there's this kind of quality to it, and it's really kind of refreshing to see something like that. There's one very clear moment where Charlie Cox gets pushed into a room, and then a stuntman comes out dressed as Daredevil and does this awesome badass flip, and then goes back into the room and Charlie Cox comes out and takes off the mask. So I found that a little bit cheesy because it was so obvious that's what was happening, but anyway, minor nitpicking. It's a very cool show to look at, and it's just generally entertaining. So well done, Netflix. If I had to rate this in comparison to Agent Carter and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I really haven't been watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Nothing's really pulling me back into that right now, even though Season 2 did get a lot better. I'm just not that, I don't know, nothing about it's pulling me in right now, even though everything going on with the Inhumans seems like it'd be really cool. Agent Carter, I thought, started out really strong, and then for whatever reason I kind of lost interest. So right now, out of those different TV versions of Marvel properties, I think I'm liking Daredevil the best, just in terms of pure watchability, entertainment value, that kind of thing. I think for now I'm going to give it, it's still only 3 stars, because again, it's not like something that I'm glued to the screen watching, but 3 stars with a confidence of 3. Maybe when I get to the end, if there's some really cool cliffhanger at the end, I'll feel more strongly about, yeah, everyone watch Daredevil. But for now, if you've got nothing else going on, check it out. It's a cool show. I think they're doing good stuff with it. Everyone involved in making it, including like Stephen DeKnight, who made Spartacus and also comes from the Whedon world. I'm going to start watching Spartacus soon, by the way. That's another show I've heard so much about that I feel like I need to give a chance, even though I know the first 4 episodes aren't very good. Anyway, you got Drew Goddard, who helped out with Joss Whedon in the Cabin in the Woods movie, which was great, and then there's just a lot of people on the back end here that come from the world of Whedon, which is a great thing, so yeah, it shows. Good stuff. Just a quick Mad Men thought. Again, I've been binge watching it this past week because I wanted to catch up to everything, so I think I watched like 3 seasons just this week, which is a lot, and it's I guess the thing I want to point out that I find most fascinating is Peggy's journey. Like, I find it so fascinating the way that she goes from, Dawn's underling, and again, I think where I stopped last week was somewhere around the suitcase, which is a really crucial relationship moment for them, and then when Peggy finally ends up leaving, and that beautiful moment between her and Dawn, where after Dawn kind of like lashes out and is angry, he's just like holding her hand, and it's so tender and sweet, and now, of course, she's basically become the Dawn of the other firm that she's working for, and all of her underlings are kind of scared of her, and she's working late at night, and, but without even saying it, they all feel like they need to work late. So, she in some ways has become Dawn, and that's a really fascinating journey. And I know as we go back further, and we're going to get to the part where she rejoins Sterling Cooper and all that, that she starts to become a little bit more self-aware. And I just find her journey so fascinating. Everything with Dawn is great in its own right, but Peggy has the strongest evolution as a character in terms of, wow, I really like seeing what's happening to her. So that's kind of cool. I don't know if I'm going to recap all of the last 7 episodes of Mad Men because it's not really a plot-driven show and it doesn't necessarily need that, but I do feel like I just want to say for the 2nd episode of the last season here, I can't remember the last time Mad Men made me laugh so hard. This was a laugh-out-loud funny episode. Some of it was, awkward laughing, like the stuff between Harry and Meghan, but the stuff between Meghan and her mom and the way she's getting down on him about Dawn and this whole, like, oh, why didn't he give you money to move out? Oh, he did give me money. Oh, like a whore. And all this French fucking stuff with his sister, and it was just so funny. And then how perfect to end on Dawn coming home to a totally empty apartment and just utter confusion. All very strangely counterpointed with the terrible, tragic story of Dawn's new paramour and all the horrible things that she's gone through. This episode felt like a farce, like in a good way, like a genuine to the characters kind of way. And then the bisexual photographer pulling the same thing on Peggy that she pulled on Stan. It was just great. It was so entertaining. Well done, Mad Men. Is it weird that I don't feel bad for Megan? Am I supposed to feel bad for her? I don't know. But anyway, I enjoyed this episode a lot. I give it 5 stars, confidence of 4 for now. Just saw the first episode of season 2 of Silicon Valley. This show had so many laugh out loud moments in season 1. There's so much awkwardness to it, especially as played by Thomas Middleditch and kind of the lead character, but there's such a fun kind of, again, laugh out loud factor to it that is really unlike anything else on TV right now. The moment where I kind of got right back into it in season 2 here, a few lines, but the one that really got me was seeing the real Winklevoss twins, you know, made famous from the Social Network movie, and the line, "I'm going to try to herd them back together and not spook them." For some reason, that just really got me. And the fact that they actually, you know, the real guys actually agreed to be in the show. Fantastic. Really enjoying the first episode of the new season. I think they're dealing with the death of Christopher Evan Welch about as well as could be expected given the circumstances. They gave him kind of a comedic death that's kind of in line with the character, and, you know, I guess it's not really insulting to the actor in any way. And I noticed they're also kind of tackling the lack of women kind of issue that's been presented on the show by replacing him with a woman who's a little bit similar to him in terms of mannerisms. There's a bit of a high-functioning autism thing going on, trouble with eye contact, but there's a comedic element that I think is played very well by the new actress there. So I think season 2 is going to be interesting. I think it ended in a really good spot. They're setting up the antagonism and the arc of the season really well right there in the first episode. So I look forward to seeing the rest of it. Gonna keep checking it out. Silicon Valley season 2. For now, 4 stars with confidence of 2. Just saw the first episode of season 5 of Game of Thrones. We're in a really interesting place now because we're surpassing for many of the plot lines what the books have done. And again, I read the books a very long time ago, or I guess during season 1, and there's so many details there that of course a lot of it has faded away. The season finale from last year I thought was probably the best season finale that the show has ever done in terms of really sending the characters off in all sorts of great directions. But what's cool about where everyone has been sent off now is there's actually a lot of contracting going on. You know, Game of Thrones is a world that's been expanding and expanding and expanding. You know, we started out with everyone kind of in one place in Winterfell and then more characters in King's Landing, and then they've all kind of branched off from there. But what's exciting now is we're on the path of seeing these characters reunite for the first time in years, and that starts to make it feel like we're starting to arc toward some kind of foreseeable conclusion to the story, which is really exciting. We know Varys and Tyrion are going to be seeing Daenerys. We know Sansa probably is going to be headed up towards Winterfell. Maybe she'll see Jon Snow, Melisandre, that whole group of people. That's exciting. It was great to see Syrian Hines get a little star role before his death in this. I got to see him play Big Daddy in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof with Scarlett Johansson on Broadway. He's a fantastic actor. He brings so much presence to the character of, well, Big Daddy in that situation. But as the King Beyond the Wall here, just a really electrifying couple of scenes there with Jon Snow. Fantastic. Looking forward to seeing where the show goes. I'm not worried about being spoiled on things the books haven't done yet. I just want to be told a good story. Spoilers, when you really think about it, you know what? If a story is really good, you're going to experience it multiple times, and it's only the first time you experience it that you get to be spoiler free. And if a story is really good, you're going to keep reading it or watching it over and over again, even if you know what's going to happen, because there's still a lot of pleasure to be taken from that experience. So, hey, hope this season's going to be good. I think we're in good hands with the entire crew and cast and all these amazing people involved with it. So it's going to be fun. Looking forward to it. Season 5, Game of Thrones. 4 stars with confidence of 3.